Shri Gurave Namaha. Vandeham. I forgot. What is the next
Sri
one?
Chaitanya,
श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुधपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधकृष्णपादान् सहगणललितान् श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो वो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की
Jai.
जय.
Nice start, Ji. Very nice. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I didn't have the bigger paper, Prabhu.
No, no worries, no worries.
Don't break the crayons, Papa.
Be
Okay, it's
able
okay.
to
Recap.
talk to, maybe that be able to talk to with the Mother Prabhu anyone?
Recently, Prabhu?
Yeah, for service.
Yes, Prabhu, I did. On that day, I did not get to talk to Vidagdha Madhav Prabhu. So, not yet on the permanent service. I started trying to go to Mangala Aarti for 2 Saturdays in a month, Prabhu.
Very
So,
nice.
when I go to the Mangala Aarti, Sudama Prabhu is the one who does the morning breakfast. So, he said I can come and help him.
Mm.
So I do the japa and help Prabhu for like 1 hour in for morning boga and then come back,
Okay,
Prabhu.
okay. But hopefully you can talk to Vedanath or anyone.
Yes,
Give them prevent service.
yes, Prabhu, I will.
Okay, wonderful. Just talk. Yeah, you go ahead with the recap.
Thank you, Prabhu. Last week was 12th, no, Prabhu. Yeah. We started talking about verse 14. 14 is the destination of the living for living entity when they leave the body in a particular mode. So when they leave the body in a mode of goodness, they go to higher planetary systems. So he said like Amalam, free of ignorance. That was the term used. And the different planets and the different mode of goodness, the higher planets, saintly persons, that's where they go to. So when you live a life in a particular mode to develop that mode, certain kind of the way you do. Oh yeah, these were like kind of discussion points saying that external environment helps you or aids your internal mode.
Mm-hmm.
Simple life, satisfy what you have. You can internally be calm and even if you are in an externally chaotic situation. So what do you eat also matters for you to develop that mode. Those were, and then you quoted a verse from the sixth chapter, saying how your mind is chanchalam, balavad, dridam, very strong, obstinate. It's very hard to control. It's even in to control the wind. And then, so here you said like the how when Hiranyakashipu went out for his tapasya, like the demigods wanted to kill Kayatu because they did not want to have like the next generation of Hiranyakashipu. But Narada Muni came and stopped, saying that the person growing inside is like the Mahabhagavata. So he made Kaya to hear the Harikatha. So and in this he mentioned that although Kayato heard and Prahalad was inside, like you different persons receive the information when you are in a different mode. Like Prahlad received the information in a different way than Kayato. There was like little discussions, Prabhu.
Mm-hmm.
Charity and goodness. um and then you went into like Vedic cosmology because Varsha had a question. And so we discussed about the higher 7 planets, lower 7 planets. I'm not going to recap those things, Prabhu.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he said, like, oh, this was the verse I wanted to by heart, working on it, Prabhu. I'm getting there, but again.
Which
So
one?
we,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Bhakti Sacharanam.
yes, Prabhu. Yeah, yeah,
Very nice.
yes. So you quoted a verse from Padyavali where like how, like it says like what dharma does a hunter have? What knowledge does a Gajendra have? What age does Dhruv have? What beauty does Kubja have? And what wealth does Sudama have? And what family does Vidura and or the Ugrasena's prowess? Those are all doesn't matter. Krishna just looks for the bhakti. That's what it is. It was like amazing verse from Vadyavali. After he quoted that, he also quoted a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 7.9.9. Same kind of a last line. Bhaktya tushtoshtu Bhagavan Yuta
Very youth
Paya.
Paya.
Gaja Yuda Paya. Yeah. It's like those two verses kind of uh, similar essence.
Mm-hmm.
And the question you asked is, can we remove all the sins by Jnana Yoga? What is the problem in that? He said, like, we can remove all the sins, but the tendency to do the sinful acts is still not removed. It is still there. It can only be uprooted by the characteristics of bhakti. So I was like, but yeah, a couple of discussion points around that. I'm moving on. 15th verse, you told about like what happens to the people when they leave the body in the mode of passion. They go to the middle planetary systems. So when they leave the body in the mode of ignorance, they go to the lower planetary systems, become like animals. Where we, yeah, uh, and then 16th verse, 16 next three verses talks the results of acting in this mode. So in this verse specifically mentions about the cows and brahmanas. So like how the spiritual knowledge is being neglected in the current situation. So grossly influenced by the ignorance and the passion mode. Yeah, these were like you said like a lot of discussion points, Prabhu. Prayas and Shreyas, like a short-term benefit, long-term benefit. Um, Offer to Bhagwan Punya. Oh, yeah, this was also very good, Prabhu. Giving Annadanam in charity, if that's a good thing for you to earn the pious credit. But when you actually offer that food to Bhagwan and then distribute the prasadam, that is not like a pious credit, but it's like a bhakti. It's a anga of bhakti. So that's how you explain us. Um, Oh yeah, this was also very good. Like when you go to temple, right? You are not going to go take darshan of the deities. We want Krishna to see us. So
Mm-hmm.
like his glance on us is what we need. Then the each yeah, it's very good, Prabhu. Like a lot of discussion points. And then results of the Rajoguna, happiness, little, grief is more. Ei samsparsha jaboga. Soon there will be like a some kind of a grief that will come out of enjoying that happiness. And Tamo is like the ignorance. The cow killing, the results are very, very harsh. Cows gives everything. So service tinged with passion and ignorance. And you concluded with like an ardent Muslim, like how he had so many questions, and he was disowned from home, and
Mm.
he met a sannyasi, and like where he read Bhagavad Gita, and he had all the answers for his questions, and then now he's preaching. So that's how like it depends upon the mode you are in and where you seek and you develop that mode for you to reach or move up in your spiritual life. Sorry, but that's all I wrote, Prabhu.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
Vijay, thanks
Krishna.
so much. Hare Krishna, Lakshmi, thank you for joining. Thank you, Vivek. Yes, so wonderful summary. Thank you so much, Vijay. As always, very wonderful summarization of what we do, or what we did in the last session. So we did finish 16, right? Okay. So verse number 16 talks about the result of pious action is pure and the mode of goodness. The mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in mode of ignorance is foolishness, right? Now, the next three verse talks about this, so this verse talked about that result. The next verse again talk about what will happen again by the mode of goodness, what will come out, mode of passion, what will come out, mode of ignorance, what will come out. Symptoms of working or symptoms or results of working in a particular mode will be explained by Krishna in three verses. The first already done, 16 already done, 17 and 18. Krishna will continue that same thought process. Okay, we'll read verse number 17. Would like to read the verse?
Yeah, I'll read Prabhu. Give me 1 minute.
Thank you.
तत्त्वात् सञ्जायते ज्ञानं रजसो लोभ एव च प्रमादमोहौ तमसो भवतो ज्ञानमेव च. Synonyms. Tattva, from the mode of goodness. Sanjayate, develops. Jnanam, knowledge. Rajasaha, from the mode of passion. Lobha, greed. Eva, certainly. Cha, also. Pramada, madness. Moha, and illusion. Tamasa, from the mode of ignorance. Bhavataha, develop. Ajnanam, nonsense. Certainly. Eva, certainly. Cha, also. Translation. From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance, develop foolishness, madness, and illusion. Perfect. Since the present civilization is not very congenial to the living entities, Krishna consciousness is recommended. Through Krishna consciousness, society will develop the mode of goodness. When the mode of goodness is developed, people will see things as they are. In the mode of ignorance, people are just like animals and cannot see things clearly. In the mode of ignorance, for example, they do not see that by killing one animal, they are taking the chance of being killed by the same animal in the next life. Because people have no education, actual knowledge, they become irresponsible. To stop this irresponsibility, education for developing the mode of goodness of the people in general must be there. When they are actually educated in the mode of goodness, they will become sober, in full knowledge of things as they are. Then people will be happy and prosperous. Even if the majority of people aren't happy and prosperous, if a certain percentage of the population develops Krishna consciousness and becomes situated in the mode of goodness, then there is a possibility for peace and prosperity all over the world. Otherwise, if the world is devoted to the modes of passion and ignorance, there can be no peace or prosperity. In the mode of passion, people become greedy and their hankering for sense enjoyment has no limit. One can see that even if one has enough money and adequate arrangements for sense gratification, there is neither happiness nor peace of mind. That is not possible because one is situated in the mode of passion. If one wants happiness at all, his money will not help him. He has to elevate himself to the mode of goodness by practicing Krishna consciousness. When one is engaged in the mode of passion, not only is he mentally unhappy, but his profession and occupation are also very troublesome. He has to devise so many plans and schemes to acquire enough money to maintain his status quo. This is all miserable. In the mode of ignorance, people become mad, being distressed by their circumstances. They take shelter of intoxication and thus they sink further into ignorance. Their future in life is very dark. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, thanks so much. Jay, please give the verse, the explanation of the verse, and then open it for discussion. Satvat. Satvat means from Sattva. Sanjayate Jnanam. From Sattva comes knowledge. Rajasoha, Lobha Evacha. And from Rajas what comes? Lobha, greed. Pramad, Moho, Tamaso. From Tamaso what comes? Pramad and Moha. Pramad is madness, Moha means illusion. Or Pramad can also mean um, inattention, um, confusion, right? And Moha means bewilderment, ignorance. Comes from Tamas. Bhavato Jnanam Evacha, right? And these are the develops basically. Bhavatah develop Ajnanam Evacha, nonsense. Okay? So, Pramada, Moha, Ajnanam from Tamas means bewilderment, inattention, ignorance, confusion, everything comes from. So, the relation between the previous one, this verses. So, if you see the previous verse, what it says, the result of pious action is pure and should be mode of goodness. Okay, the action during the mode of passion results in misery. So, if you can think, guna is a cause, and Passion is pure happiness. In 16th verse, right? 16th verse talks about being happy, happiness. The result of sattva is happiness. The result of mode of passion is misery. The result of doing action in mode of ignorance is foolishness. Whatever, right? So now between these two, there are intermediate results. For example, this verse says, Sattva sanjayate jnanam, jnanam, knowledge. With abundance of knowledge, right? What happens? You get happiness. With abundance of knowledge, if you do activity, you get happiness. That's what it meant. That's what it means. Okay. Similarly, from rajas comes greed, right? So what to say, uh, if action and passion produce misery, right? 16th verse, because it is caused by unlimited desires and insatiable greed. Does it make sense? The correlation between the previous and this verse. Action in mode of goodness results in knowledge, which brings about proper action. The 16th verse result. So 17th verse talks about intermediate results. Doing action in mode of goodness. What is the first thing you get? Knowledge. And doing action in that knowledge further brings about purity. Now, when you do action in passion, greed develops, unlimited desire. That is the nature. And by doing what happens, ultimately, misery will come. Does that make sense? 17 talks about intermediate results, and 16 talks about the final result. Is that clear? Or
Why are you saying it's intermediate, Prabhu? Because from how I see it, isn't 16 the result of 17?
16 the result of 17. Yeah, 70 is intermediate हो गया मतलब फिर तो.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were saying 16 is the intermediate. Okay, okay.
नहीं 16 the result, 17 the result. So it's like
17 the beach में आ रहा है. To do
हाँ बीच
7,
में आ रहा है
yeah,
मतलब
if you
बोलने
do
से
17, you'll get 16.
हाँ 17 से क्या होगा, by being in the mode of sattva you get something which is 17 और उसको साथ में लेके रहेगा तो 16 मिलेगा. Does it make sense?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
So greed is kind of more fundamental, and by being greedy, by being insatiable greed, unlimited desires leads to misery. Okay, खत्म ही होगा. It's like pouring ghee on fire. It keep burning. Right? So that is 16 verse. Misery.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Bhupal, any thoughts, anything on this verse before we moments? Yes. Okay. So we saw this verse, right? The purpose in the verse, purpose says,
I have a question on Prabhupada's
yes,
verse. Purport.
yeah,
Now, Prabhupada doesn't make a distinction between doing things in the mode of goodness versus doing things in the mode of goodness in Krishna consciousness, right?
yes,
So there is a difference between the two things.
yes. There's difference between two things, but if someone is not able to do
At
in
least come
bhakti,
to the
at least
mode of goodness.
what is at least वो कर लो. Because as I mentioned, it's clear, right? That mode, that platform itself is very conducive for spiritual development. तो at least उस पे आ जाओ. भी बोलते ना this morally, बोलते ना ethically, morally, be right. Right? धर्म करो, be mode of goodness. That वो करो, वो उसके ऊपर becomes easy to layer the other things. Right? One becomes more receptive in the mode of goodness, usually.
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Nice observation. Anything else, anyone? Okay. So as Bentley pointed out, Prabhupada in this mention in this verse, Krishna consciousness is recommended. And through Krishna consciousness, society develops mode of goodness. Actually, this is talking about mode of goodness, mode of pure goodness. But mode of goodness is as I mentioned, a very conducive platform to develop Krishna consciousness. Okay, very conducive platform. Doesn't mean the only platform. It's conducive to bring about actions in Krishna consciousness or from bhakti in general. Okay, or in fact, any mode of yoga, goodness is a very nice platform. Let me put it that way. Good is a very nice platform to perform or to start any process of yoga. Karma yoga or jnana yoga, jnana, ashtanga yoga or bhakti yoga. Any man. Okay, but and Prabhupada then goes about how even if such a more part of goodness exists, or if more percentage of population is able to develop the mode of goodness, it can have effect in large. Okay, so that is so when you have you seen Bhakti Center, all the different branches, you will see when they try to preach to people of, so to say, higher social status, right? You stand, hey, क्या कर रहे हो? भक्ति करो, ये करो. They're like, it's too much for them. So for them, it's better to bring them gradually. Bring them sattvic khana, sattvic cooking. Yeah, it's very nice. Mantra healing, mantra yoga, all different fancy terms come in. And slowly, bring them to more of goodness. And then from there, take off. There's another strategy to reach to large audience, basically. And many
Yeah,
devotees do this. Do
it's
such.
not just high social status, right? For every class.
Not just that. Usually, but not just, of course.
Yeah,
Usually, right? So we have, Gopal Prabhu,
yes.
all devotees. That is what their method of preaching is. So they use that, I would say. They use this tactic or this kind of mode for them,
Yeah.
if that way. Yeah. Yeah. Any questions? Anything like that? Thoughts? Okay. Yeah, this verse talks about that in general. And again, continuing on the same thought, for the result of being in the mode of doing in the particular mode, Krishna will end that particular section with the next verse. Okay, we can read the next verse. Would you like to read?
I can read, Prabhu.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, before that, sorry. So if you see like the purport, last one, in mode of ignorance, people become mad. Being distressed by the circumstances, they shelter of intoxication and is further into ignorance. So all these different things which we see, being bombarded with ads or being stuck to phone, doomsday scrolling, all this stuff. People trying to drink to get out of depression or whatever it is. Sorrowful, अरे यार lonely क्या करें? Drink. They're just digging for more and more, going inside it. So they're already in tamagun, and it's like a black hole, or we would say a quicksand. We get dragged further and further into it. So at least begin from these discussions is for us, we realize where we are and where we should not be. That's the takeaway you could take from this verse. Yeah. And please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. It's verse 18, right, Prabhu?
80.
Okay, sorry. Okay. Urdhvam गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्ता मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जघ्नस्य वृत्तिस्ता अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः urdhvam upwards gachanti go sattvastaha those situated in the mode of goodness madhye in the middle tishtanti dwell rajasaha those situated in the mode of passion jaganya of abominable guna quality vrittistaha whose occupation Ataha down, gachanti go, tamasa persons in the mode of ignorance. Translation purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. Purport. In this verse, the results of actions in the three modes of nature are more explicitly set forth. There is an upper planetary system consisting of the heavenly planets where everyone is highly elevated. According to the degree of development of the mode of goodness, the living entity can be transferred to various planets in this system. The highest planet is Satyaloka or Brahmaloka, where the prime person of this universe, Lord Brahma, resides. We have seen already that we can hardly calculate the wondrous condition of life in Brahmaloka, but the highest condition of life, the mode of goodness, can bring us to this. The mode of passion is mixed. It is in the middle between the modes of goodness and ignorance. A person is not always pure, but even if he should be purely in the mode of passion, he will simply remain on this earth as a king or a rich man. But because there are mixtures, one can also go down. People on this earth in the mode of passion or ignorance cannot forcibly approach the higher planets by machine. In the mode of passion, there is also the chance of becoming mad in the next life. The lowest quality, the mode of ignorance, is described here as abominable. The result of developing ignorance is very, very risky. It is the lowest quality in material nature. Beneath the human level, there are 8 million species of life: birds, beasts, reptiles, trees, etc. And according to the development of the mode of ignorance, people are brought down to these abominable conditions. The word tamasaha is very significant here. Tamasa indicates those who stay continuously in the mode of ignorance without rising to a higher mode. Their future is very dark. There is an opportunity for men in the modes of ignorance and passion to be elevated to the mode of goodness, and that system is called Krishna consciousness. But one who does not take advantage of this opportunity will certainly continue in the lower modes. Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Krishna, thank you so much. Okay. So, any thoughts, anything on this?
In Hawaii, Prabhu, somewhere in the museum, I read like every hour there are like 40 to 50 species that are being discovered, new species. And then my
Wow.
mind immediately went to 8.4 million species. I don't even know how many have been known to humans and how many are still yet to be.
Yeah, they're all, because it's a, when you say extinct, right? Extinct from here, but there are present other planets also.
Other
So,
planets also.
extinct from
Yeah.
from here maybe, but they can extinct. Yeah, very
Yeah.
nice. Nice
Okay.
connection. Okay. Anything else in share?
So for just
Mm-hmm.
curious, Prabhu, for animals and trees,
Mm-hmm.
right? How do they, because trees especially, you said they're in the mode of ignorance, and animals
Mm-hmm.
too are in the carnivorous animals.
Mm-hmm.
The only way for them to get a human birth next time, because they don't have karma system like us, right? Because
Yes.
Bhagwan gives them what they can eat, and that's all they eat to survive.
Uh-huh.
So how do they go up the ladder, right? Or what will
You know,
happen to
it's
them
like,
in the next birth?
so anything other than human body is called bhoga yoni. They're exhausting
Bhogayoni.
their karmas.
Exhausting their karmas.
Karmas.
Okay,
The
okay.
karma yoni.
Yeah.
So they must have lived, and from their life, one by one, they get one life. Bottle by bottle.
Okay. So
It's not that
somebody who's,
whatever they do, the animal life, depending on that, they will get a body next life. No.
yeah.
No, it's not like that. It's called bhoga yoni. Humans are called karma yoni.
Okay.
In this life, we can decide where we want to go.
Please. Right.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the question.
No, I was just saying, there's a soul that has taken the body of the cow. The cows are in the almost in the mode of goodness, you can say. Maybe next time they
Relatively
have a
speaking, yes.
human birth.
Animals, cows are very pious, of course,
Right.
worshipable. For here, right? Uh, so we're looking at Vivek's. So how much
Yeah, I
more
just
time?
I just posted, Prabhu. This is like the most precise calculation of how many species on Earth. Scientists estimate around 8.7, which is like so close to 8.4 of Bhagavatam, right?
Yeah.
And before this number was calculated, it was anywhere between 3 million and 100 million.
Hmm.
Now, using like the latest, currently the latest scientific methodology, this is the number that they arrived on. And this has been established in the Bhagavatam.
Yeah. And also, if you see, right,
And they
These
said,
species are not talking about. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
and out of these 8.7, they've only cataloged, I think, 2.2 or something.
Yeah.
Very
Also,
less.
yeah. Also, the April 1st billion species is not exactly our definition of species.
We
There are
don't know,
4,000 equal
like,
species.
yeah,
So the calculation will be different in that way, you could say. Right?
Prabhu, and
Yeah.
8.4 species, I don't know if they include like these corporeal forms like Bhuta, Preta, Pisach types.
No. It's Jalajara Lakshan. No, please go. 1 second. Sorry. Yeah. So the word said Jalajara Lakshani. The verse. Remember? So there's a words. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Share the word. Share my screen. Okay. Oh yeah. Here. Okay. Maybe we can see the screen. Okay. You see right? Okay. This verse. Jalaja Navalakshani Sthavar Lakshani Vimshati. Nine species living in the water. Jalaja Navalakshani Sthavara non-moving Laksha Vimshati. Right? 20, 2 million. So if you see in this calculation, they are not directly mentioned. They might be in part of human, I don't know, but they're not directly mentioned.
What is not directly mentioned?
The corporeal forms you mentioned, right?
Yeah, non-corporeal, yeah.
Yeah, non-corporeal. Right. And they're not directly mentioned.
Yeah, this calculation, yeah, we can't take it
Might be
out
human
for,
form, but
yeah, it's different.
yeah, I'm able to get it for it.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Seeing that way. Okay. The word occur urdhvam. Urdhvam means we have urdhva. Do you remember anything else? Does anything else come to mind when you say urdhva?
Urdhvamulam Adashakam.
Wonderful. Sorry?
Inverted banyan tree?
Yes, yeah, that's what we said. Urdhva shakam. Yes, wonderful. Anything else you think about? Come to
Head,
mind? Huh? Sorry?
head, like top head.
Cradle? Sorry,
Head.
head.
Urdhva.
Urdhva. It's called murdha. Murdhanya is called head.
Okay.
Urdhva means going up. Remember? So when I heard Urdhvam, I got 3 SMS Urdhvam Shakam. I think it's Krishna's lotus feet has a line going up on his from this bottom, not bottom, from middle of his lotus feet, going to middle of toe and the first finger. Urdhvam. Urdhva Rekha. Other Urdhva is Urdhva Pundra or Tilak. It's
Yes.
called Urdhva Pundra. So yeah. So Urdhvam Gachanti Satvastha. Those who are situated in Satvastha, Urdhvam Gachanti, they go upwards. Okay. Madhya Tishtanti Rajasa. Those who are situated in Rajas mode. Madhya situated in middle planets. Jaganya Gunavrittistha Ado Gachanti Tamasa. And those situated in the abominable tamasic mode. Ado Gachanti. They also Gachanti, but Adha Gachanti. Going down. Right? So, uh, so here the word the upper Urdu Gachanti's maximum goes to Satyalok. That is maximum we can go. Okay? According to the amount of Satya you have. Those 16 conduct, they are in the human world, mixture of sin and piety, both, mix of both. And they take on various human forms based on the amount of rajas we have, depending on so many things, factors. And those mode of tamas, inferior mode, they take animals, birds, non-living entities, depending on the amount of tamas we have. This is how it is in a very high level overview. And but there are many varieties of activity factors which account of how of in what mode we are in what mode we are dominant in what mode we are situated in. Some of the examples are given. I have to find the verse. I have the my notes. There agama. What kind of shastras do we hear? Do we hear tantric shastras? Tantric is not tantric. Tamasic tantric shastras. Do we use tamasic shastras? Do we hear rajasic shastras? What kind of shastras do we hear that helps that kind of gears us towards a particular mode? Then what kind of water we drink, nice or too much liquor, less water also. Then type of food we eat. Then praja, association. What kind of association we have? Where we live, desha, the time of the day affects more we know. Then karma or activities, janma or birth, where we are born, which place we are born again, which family. Then dhyana or thought, mantras, the what we chant, what we speak constantly. Then samskaras, the impressions which we have. Varnashram, ceremonies we undergo, what kind of ceremonies, do we have ceremonies at all? Do any samskaras or no? So many things. So there's so many factors which is involved, which kind of they have different weights, maybe different variables. These are different variables. They kind of affect together the effect and produces one result. Where will be in what family, what kind of parents, where in which part of the world, in which condition, which also everything is determined by that. What all we did in the previous in the past life of all based on all these variables. Does it make sense?
Prabhu, is all of this in a Bhagavatam verse, Prabhu? Like
It's in 11th canto, Uddhav Gita.
Uddhav Gita.
Let's find the
Okay.
verse. Find the verse and share in the group. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Agama, apa, desha, kala, karma, janma, praja. All words which come. Okay. Any questions? This we can go to Prabhupada Shri Prabhupada. Yeah, Prabhupada says here the highest planet is Satyaloka, the prime person of the universe, Baba said, and that's the maximum we can go Satyaloka in being Sattva. Mode of passion is mixed in the middle. So depending on Sattva you have, you can go Swarga, Jana, Tapa, Mahar. That is relative. How much Sattva you have. Middle planet is a combination of mode of ignorance and passion. Goodness थोड़ा कम है comparatively. The middle planet, human. The opposite is always a person is always pure. Okay, it's mixed. Okay. Um, the lowest quality mode of ignorance is kept as abominable, jaganya. But definitely we should not definitely be in that mode. And the result of developing ignorance is very, very risky. Lowest quality mental nature. Beneath the human level, there are 8 million species of life, bird, beasts, reptiles, trees, etc. According to the development of mode of ignorance, people are brought down to abominable conditions. Why abominable conditions? Because that's where you are the opportunity to perform anything of bhakti is almost gone in the particular mode. It's pretty much gone, right? And the tamasa indicates those who continuously stay in mode of ignorance. So if you see the word sattva stha means predominantly staying in that mode. Yes, those who are predominantly staying in mode of ignorance, they have very high chance of going down. Okay? This opportunity for men in the mode of ignorance and passion to be elevated mode of goodness. And that system is called Krishna consciousness. Okay, coming in bhakti or bhakta, devotees, that probability of going down becomes very less and going up becomes very high. Okay? Does it make sense? Any questions? So these three verses, Krishna talked about the result of doing activities in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. Krishna gave intermediate result, the next result, and the final result, the destination of and the three layers Krishna gave in these three verses. Okay. Any questions? Anything before we go to next verse, the next section of the chapter?
Prabhuji, I have one question.
Yes.
Okay, so you are mentioning it that the person who are in the mode of sattva, I mean the goodness, they are the one who will be enjoying maybe they will be the one who is going to Tapaloka. I mean, you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Only they get the chance to be there. But there are some, I have seen with so many people, the people who are in the mode of goodness tend to suffer on earth a lot. And I know sometimes it's connected to the karmic cycle, maybe what they have been the previous birth.
Yeah.
But still, even though they are in the path of Krishna, I mean, not only Krishna, let it be any god that they believe. Even though they follow very strict rules, they always be good to people, do something, but it looks like something bad will always happen to them. They are never out of sorrow.
Okay.
So why is that?
So technically speaking, it's because karma, because what we did in the past. Now, how they respond in this at this situation will determine the destination. For example, say you are in particular circumstance basically. That is decided because of what you did in the past. That is here. Now, being in this situation, how you act will determine your destination. So let's say
Okay.
person is a mode of this is the person they believe some whatever they believe in. This is so much sorrow, everything. But if they're still in the mode of goodness, understand, no, yeah, it's a karma hai, it's okay, chal raha hai. Still in the mode of goodness. Even that, would say, being in sorrowful conditions or harsh conditions, they're still able to maintain the mode of goodness, the destination guaranteed. But if in that condition, they get afflicted by mode of ignorance or passion and say, yeah, yeah, and they start doing whatever they do, well, the destination is gone because based on this, what they did, they're going to different destination. Does it make sense? So what all we're experiencing right now is because of what we did in the past. And because of what we do right now, we'll experience the future.
Okay.
So if you consider what is it, um, is destiny fixed? Is the future fixed? People ask the question. No. It depends on what you do right now. Based on our response to a current situation, we can change your destiny. Does it make sense?
Okay. So
Based on something, let's say previous life, for example. So, but a previous life it is something. Based on what you did in previous life, with the current situation. Very simple example. Okay. Based on previous life, you did something. Because of that, you're in current situation. Now, because how you perform in this situation or in this life, you will determine your next life. Right?
Okay. Okay.
So how you react, how you respond, what you do right now will determine how will be in the next life or next situation, whatever it is, the future, the destiny, or fate, whatever. Does it make sense? Is it clear or?
What I am confused is some of the stories when we hear of Bhagavans, there are some stories because they are following the path of goodness, even the destiny have changed with God's grace.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some people get that God grace and their destiny changes, but
Mm-hmm.
some are not. So is that something connected? I don't know, like,
So there are two things. There's a mode of goodness that's
okay,
different, and then bhakti is a bit different. For example, when you get mercy of Bhagwan on his devotees,
okay, oh, okay.
it is a different path altogether.
Uh,
When an example mentions about a hunter, his name is Mrigari.
uh-huh,
The job or main enjoyment for the hunter was to see an animal gasping for life, would half kill the animal and just leave it, and that that fight for survival or fight to live,
mm-hmm,
right? The animal will do all this trying to gasp air, whatever, right?
yeah,
Seeing that person used to be happy.
uh,
How wicked is that activity, right?
that's right.
That person, just by association with Narad Muni, transformed 180 degrees.
Ah,
So much so that he would not even step on an ant.
okay,
So that because of that association with Sadhu Sangha, his entire destiny changed.
okay. So
By
the
doing yeah. Hmm?
primary things are like, being associated with pure devotees,
Yeah,
being
can
associated.
change completely. So as I say, bhakti, one of the categories of bhakti is kleshagni. Kleshagni means it destroys all kleshas. What is klesha? Aprarabdha karma. Being in the mode of goodness does not destroy your aprarabdha karma or this karma or that karma. No. It will give you results of good karma. Bhakti is such that it destroys aprarabdha karma. So whatever you experience in next life is taken from something from the previous life. What did you write?
Mm-hmm.
Taken from that itself is destroyed. So what is that you will suffer in the next life? Does it make sense?
Yes, yes.
Saying bhakti has a potency to burn completely to ashes your aprarabdha karma. To certain extent, your prarabdha karma also. So bhakti is a total different category altogether. Being the mode of goodness, you will attain higher stages in the same material world. But bhakti can give you set place in a planet beyond this world. The
Okay,
maximum you can go in Sattva Guna is in this world, Satya Brahma Loka. But still within this material world, right?
that's
Beyond this you can't go.
now it makes sense.
Right?
Thank you, Ji.
Yeah. One more question. Any other questions, any other points can come up? Twice. Right, okay. The next section, basically, so the next was the next um, section is the last section. So we have 27 verses, right? So the 19 to 27 verses, 27th verse, basically, 8 verses. Krishna is going to tell how to transcend the modes. So Krishna was told position of the modes, what is the quality of these modes, what is the result of acting in these modes, talk everything about the modes. Now the question, the $1 million question, निकलना कैसा है? How to get out of this? Krishna will explain how to transcend these modes, and Krishna will explain his relation with these modes. He has already explained some in some verses in the previous chapters. In 7th chapter, he has mentioned what is the relation of him and the three modes. And previous chapter also he has mentioned. In 4th chapter also, I think so. So he will mention the relation of between him and the gunas, and also mention how to transcend these modes. Okay, the next section, the next 8 verses. Okay. Yeah. Would you like to read the verse? Well, spice. Okay, I can read. Okay. नान्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं यदा दृष्टानुपश्यति गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति. Synonyms: no, anyam, other, gunebhya, than the qualities, kartaram, performer, Yada, when. Drishta, a seer. Anupashyati, sees properly. Gunebhya, to the modes of nature. Cha, and. Param, transcendental. Vetti, knows. Mad bhavam, to my spiritual nature. Saha, he. Adhigachati is promoted. Translation by Prabhupada ki jai. When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature. One can transcend all the activities of the modes of material nature simply by understanding them properly by learning from the proper souls. The real spiritual master is Krishna, and he is imparting this spiritual knowledge to Arjuna. Similarly, it is from those who are fully in Krishna consciousness that one has to learn this science of activities in terms of the modes of nature. Otherwise, one's life will be misdirected. By the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master, a living entity can know of this spiritual position, know of his spiritual position, his material body, his senses, how he is entrapped, and how he is under the spell of the material modes of nature. He is helpless being in the grip of these modes, but when he sees his real position, then he can attain to the transcendental platform, having the scope for spiritual life. Actually, the living entity is not the performer of different activities. He is forced to act because he is situated in a particular type of body, conducted by some particular mode of material nature. Unless one has the help of spiritual authority, he cannot understand in what position he is actually situated. With the association of his bona fide spiritual master, he can see his real position. And by such an understanding, he can become fixed in full Krishna consciousness. A man in Krishna consciousness is not controlled by the spell of the material modes of nature. It has already been stated in the seventh chapter that one has to surrender, that one who has surrendered to Krishna is relieved from the activities of material nature. For one who is able to see things as they are, the influence of material nature gradually ceases. Yeah. Okay, like you share, like to share anything? Mm-hmm. No. Nothing. Once, twice. It's okay. So let's okay. Okay. Let's see what's okay. Na anyam gunebhya kartaram. Na anyabhya gunebhya kartaram means the kartaram, the performer is none other than guna. The quality most of the qualities. Yada dishta anupashyati. One who sees or when one sees that the actual performer is none other than the gunas, gunebhya param vetti, and knows that someone param vetti knows that someone is param higher than these gunas. Krishna, that person mad bhavam adhigachati, which is my nature. When one properly sees that in all activities, no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows Supreme Lord, Param Vitti, knows Param, Supreme Lord, who stands into these modes, attains a spiritual nature. Mad bhavam adhigachati. Sa means that person, mad bhavam gachati, adhigachati. Okay, that is the verse. So now Krishna here equates the transcending of three modes with liberation from material world. Because Krishna says, here Krishna said, that is my spiritual nature. So to understand transcending these modes attains my nature, that means Krishna is saying that transcending these modes means going beyond the liberation from material world. Okay? And the first step is what? To observe the modes working upon us. This is purpose basic. I'm kind of taking the purpose. So first step to solve a problem, the first step is to understand there is a problem. Realize there's a problem. So the first step is to observe the modes are working on us, and then by observing the modes at work, we can understand the modes are active and we are separate. We are not same as the modes, two distinct entities. In this way, we can come to understanding the eternal living entities. Matlab, first you understand that, okay, there's difference between me and my body. Basically, the difference between me and my body. Okay. The second step is to understand Krishna's position. So although Krishna is acting within material sphere, Krishna came 5,000 years ago, Krishna came to the world. But although Krishna appears to be acting in the material world, he is fully transcendental. Just imagine you have covered yourself with oil. For example, you have a coating of oil. You be in the water and stand. The water will not touch you because it's all they will mix like a barrier. Can be, So if Krishna comes in the material world, he's still fully spiritual because this material spiritual cannot mix together. Okay. So what I see here, a person Krishna consciousness is not controlled by this person modes of material nature. Same chapter Krishna says, which verse is that? Who remembers?
Say that, Prabhu. What's the question
Which
again?
verse is that? When Krishna says that anyone surrenders unto me, they can be free from the modes of material nature.
Vaiviyesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mam prapadyante mamevati
Mameva prapadyante mayameva.
Mayamitam tarantite.
Yes, wonderful.
Okay.
So now, the verse before that also, Krishna talks about his relation. He says, Tribhir gunamayir bhaver. Evhi sarvam idam jagat mohitam nabi janati mam ebhya param abhyayam. That deluded, what to say, mohitam, because by delusion, by three modes, the whole world, jagat, sarvam idam jagat, does not know me. Who am I? Mam ebhya param abhyayam. I am above the modes and inexhaustible. Krishna is talking about his position basically at the particular point of time, 7th chapter. So, Krishna saying first understand that if the modes are actually performing, we saw this in 13th chapter also, right? The body is basically the performer at the end of 13th chapter. It's actually the gunas doing the activities because of our desire, soul's desire. Gunas are once acting. So you understand that there's difference between me, my mind, and body. We say, right? Sometimes people equate we with ourselves with the mind. We say, right? We'll say in India, we're saying, hey, rickshaw. The rickshaw will stop. Sorry, the rickshaw won't stop. The person driving the rickshaw will stop. Why? The person is identifying himself with the rickshaw. Hey, rickshaw. अरे कहाँ पे रिक्शा कहाँ पे आ रहा है ऐसे नहीं ओ पर्सन इन द रिक्शा वेयर आर यू गोइंग नो रिक्शा कहाँ पे आ रहा है person attached so much the oneness is there with rickshaw we call rickshaw person will stop. So the person understanding that me and mind are so much saying that I want this. No, it's not you want this. Your mind wants something. You actually don't. You want service of Bhagwan as pure entity. I want this. No, it's not. My mind wants that. I hate that. No, you don't hate. Your mind hates it. So understanding itself that me and my mind are separate is the big thing. First of all, and next level is understanding that me and mind are separate. But who am I? I'm a spirit soul. The next level. Once you understand that, when I say Krishna, then it becomes very nice. हाँ okay, आप समझाओ कि क्या करना है. मामे वही प्रपद्यन्ते मायावती तंते. Does it make sense? That step by step has to be there. Makes sense?
Yeah, Prabhu.
Okay. Any questions? Anything in this?
I was just trying to think in how many verses I said mad bhavam before, Prabhu.
Yeah, many verses they said Madhava.
My nature, right? Even
Yeah,
in
9th chapter Krishna says.
8.5.
Sorry?
8.5, no, the one second. What's 8.5, Prabhu? He says,
8.5?
yeah,
Oh, this one, yeah, it says, right? Antakali mameva
Antakale
kalevaram.
chamameva. Yeah. Smaran mukta kalevaram.
Ye prati sad madbhavam.
Madbhavam.
Bhutbhav.
Yeah.
Yes, wonderful. Very nice. Yeah. So Krishna has mentioned this things again and again. 13th chapter, 19th verse, 35th verse. He has mentioned that one does bhakti properly, attains supreme bhakti. When Krishna attains my nature, as prema bhakti or my spiritual place, not become one with him. That in spiritual position. Right?
What's happening?
Okay. Any other questions, anyone? Once, twice. Okay. Okay, take. So we can do the next verse. Again, Krishna will keep on going with the same flow. Right? To 20th verse. Who would like to read 20th verse? Any takers? 20th verse? If I can read.
Prabhu, wait, Prabhu, I can read, Prabhu.
Yes, 20th verse?
20th verse, Prabhu. Okay, I'll read, Prabhu. 1 second,
Yes,
Prabhu.
it's a small book there.
Read the piece. I need to open it, Prabhu. 14.20. गुणां येताम् अतीत्य त्रिन् देहि देह समुद्भवान् जन्म मृत्यु जरा दुःखैर्विमुक्तो अमृतम् अश्नुते. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Guna, the three modes of material nature. Etan, these. Atitya, transcending. Trin, three. Dehi, the embodied. Deha, the body. Samudbhavan, produced of. Janma, birth. Mrityu, death. Jara, old age. Dukkaihi, misery. Vimukta, free from. Amritam, immortality. Ashnute, attains. Translation: by transcendenting the three modes of material nature associated with the body, one becomes free from birth, death, old age, and misery, and attains immortality. Purport. If we drink, am I reading the right commentary, Prabhu?
It says how one can stay in the transcendental position?
Okay, that's why. Because this one was not Veda base.
Oh.
I just 14 point. Okay, now I can. Okay. Free from birth, death, old age, and their distress, and can enjoy the nectar even in this life. Purport. How can one stay in the transcendental position even in this body in full Krishna consciousness is explained in this verse. The Sanskrit word dehi means embodied. Although one is within this material body, by his advancement in spiritual knowledge, he can be free from the influence of the modes of the nature. He can enjoy the happiness of spiritual life even in this body because after leaving this body, he is certainly going to the spiritual sky, but even in this body, he can enjoy spiritual happiness. In other words, devotional service in Krishna consciousness is a sign of liberation from the material entanglement. And in this verse, explained in the 18th chapter, when one is freed from the influence of the modes of the material nature, he enters into devotional service.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, so he says, Gunan etan, these Gunan, atitya trin. Trin means these three. Atitya means atita. Atita means transcending beyond. Do you know Aarti Mataji? Remembers? I think you might know.
Yes, Mata. Yes, Prabhu.
Right?
Yeah, Prabhu. Atita
Atita Sundari.
Gunasundari.
Atita Gunasundari.
Gunasundari.
Atita Gunasundari. Atitya. So Gunan etan atitya trin dehi deha samudbhavam. These gunas are the cause of deha samudbhavam. They are the cause samudbhavam of deha. They are the cause of getting this body. Okay? And so that devotee, that soul was able to go beyond Atit, that is Gunan, who is the cause of this, who is the cause of giving this body, At never janma mritu jara dukhair vimuktaha. They become that divinity becomes liberated from janma mritu jara dukha, the cycle of or the pain, this pain of janma mritu jara, the birth, death, old age. And amritam ashrute enjoys amritam, immortality. These are words. Okay. So now this is, you could say, a clarification to the verse mad bhavam, the previous verse. In the previous verse, the mad bhavam, right? Krishna is clarifying is what mad bhavam mean. He's saying, though the atma is situated in the body, the living soul is situated in the body, right? But by the power of distinguishing jiva, to the degree we are able to distinguish ourselves from the gunas, to that degree we are overcoming the gunas, the three modes. To the degree we overcome three gunas, so let's say you fully overcome. So let's say you fully overcome the clutches of three modes, which give rise to this body, and then when become freed from birth, age, death, old age, and disease, everything, and experiences Atma, Amritam. So that's the Mad Bhav, basically the Mad Bhava of the previous verse can be beyond samsara. This is Janma Mritu Jara Dukhair Vimukta. Right? So Janma Mritu Jara Dukhair Vimukta basically means beyond samsara, basically. Right? So they become, it means, Balavidabhasya says, they become qualified from pure bhakti. So who is qualified? You can say, who is qualified pure bhakti? To degree we have understood that we are the body, we are the soul, and trying to cultivate that particular mood, and to degree we have that realization, to that degree we are qualified pure bhakti. Prabhupada says in the purport, in other words, devotional service in Krishna consciousness is a sign of liberation from material entanglement. To the degree we attachment to hear, to the degree we attachment to sing or to kirtan, to speak Harikatha, to share Harikatha, to that degree one is disentangled from the material world. Okay? And this will explain in the 18th chapter, where Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na Shochiti na Kamshiti Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhakti Labate Param. So here, was saying here, when one is freed from the modes, the influence of modes of material nature, this is Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. The living is Brahman, a pure soul, na Shochiti na Kamshiti. Does not desire anything, does not lament for anything. And Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu looks at all living beings as equal. And then what happens? Mad Bhakti Labate Param. Then attains Prema Bhakti towards me. Okay? So one can think that to the degree we attach to hearing, attached to singing, attached to speaking, attached to sharing Krishna Katha, attached to glorify Krishna, or all this nine types of bhakti, to that degree one is disentangled from material nature. And to the degree we entangle material nature, to that degree we are in spiritual plane. Either we can be either here in the material world or in the spiritual world, either way. Either we went disentangled from here, we are entangling ourselves in the spiritual world. So one can relish the bliss of spiritual life within this world also. To the degree we are disentangled from material world. Does that make sense?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So this anartha nivritti, anartha nirvritti, and artha pravritti. One is to only kar raha hai, I don't want this, I want bad, I don't want bad, I don't want bad habits, I don't want to do this bad thing, I don't want to. So saying no to many things. That is good, but one should try to practice the positive aspects more. Let's try to hear more. Let's try to do this more. Let's try to chant more. Let's try to hear more. Let's try to do some service more. When you develop that positive activity more, the negative activity automatically reduces. Artha pravritti. Try to cultivate the positive aspect than to just focus on the negative aspect and think, no, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this. It's very pessimistic. Does that make sense? So, yeah, hope that's clear. This was. Any questions? No?
Very nice explanation, Prabhu. Anartha nivritti,
Prabhu.
anartha pravritti.
Yeah, yeah. So, will you say something, Vivek?
No, I just said thank you, Prabhu, for the explanation.
Okay. Anything? Once, twice, and thrice. Okay. To stop here, we'll continue from verse 21. So, next section is Arjuna starts. Arjuna asks a question regarding transcending the modes of nature. And 21 and 22, 23, 24, 25. 4 verses which will respond to a particular question. So we're not very similar, like kind of in line as the question is Sita Prajna question, second chapter. What are symptoms? What is behavior? Then how does trans that kind of questions he will ask. Now, and Kish will answer. Okay. So thank you so much. 5 more verses we completed today. How many? 18, 19, 20, 20, 18, 20. 3 verses completed, right? Today? If I'm not
Yeah,
wrong.
three, Prabhu.
3 verses. Okay. Hopefully complete the 5 verses next time. I don't know. We'll see. And we'll go to 15th chapter. Purushottam. So this year we have Adhik Mas. We do Adhik Mas. Does it know Adhik Mas?
Yes, Prabhu, it comes in once in 4 years. It's Purushottam month.
Once in 3
It's
years,
like
yes. Exactly.
it's extra 1 month, Prabhu. It's in
Yes.
June.
So this we have this year. I think starts from May. I think it starts here May 17th. Purushottam Mas. Please, very, very auspicious month. Very, very auspicious once in 3 years. Chant here more. The 15th chapter. Speak. Whatever we can do. We are planning to at least here. We don't know if it will happen or not. Okay. Sure. Oh, sorry. We are planning to conduct something. We can go to different houses and speak. Maybe Krishna Katha, something on this month here.
Yeah, very nice, Prabhu. I
Just like
remember
Damodar. We'll
once.
see how it goes. We don't know. It's not. We're still. Now still in the process of trying to zero it down. Not to be done. We might do all 15 chapter. Purushottam Mas, Purushottam Yoga. 15 chapter. We need that also. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Manchakrapati Krishna Kripasindubhyevacha. Paitana Pavane Vishnu Mandu Vishnu की जय. गोविंदा की जय. Shrupaal की जय. Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, we missed,
Hare
we
Krishna.
missed Ramya and also Harsha today.
I came, Prabhu, but I came towards the end.
Oh, sorry.
I joined
No,
very late. I was
no, no,
having
Glad you
I
got